I'm Matt Spade. I'm a strength coach and a holistic health coach. I joined the Marines right after high school, fought in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's honestly where a lot of like my coaching started, was training my Marines, whether it's for their strength stuff, also mindfulness things. I've been doing some form of breath work and mindfulness pretty much since I was about 16. I got into it actually from listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because they would meditate before their shows. And that's when I started kind of getting into it, counting my breath, nothing too advanced. But that was really the start of it. And what a lot of people don't realize is your breath is your key to the nervous system. So when I got out of the Marines, I was dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, operator syndrome, a lot of things that a lot of guys come back from and deal with. And the breath was a huge part of what helped me get better and bring my anxiety levels down, get it to where my hypervigilance would come down. And a lot of that is because what people don't realize, with improper breathing, you can get stuck in your sympathetic nervous system state, because you're breathing shallow, you're not getting enough oxygen, and on your inhales, if they're out of balance with your exhales, that puts you in a more sympathetic state. So your breath also has to do with your heart rate variability. Y'all familiar with heart rate variability? Anybody? Somewhat? So that's basically the rate change of your heartbeat. So when you breathe in, it's a more sympathetic. Your sympathetic nervous system is more active, so that's your fight or flight. When you exhale, it's parasympathetic. That's the rest and digest. So when that's out of sync, there's still a little bit of like parasympathetic going on, but if you can picture a sinus wave, so like your heartbeat, your HRV, when you breathe in, your heart rate should increase, and then when it hits the peak of the inhale, that's when it hits its peak. And then when you exhale, right here at the bottom, when it hits its peak, that's your parasympathetic. So if your breathing's out of whack and your inhales are longer than your exhales, or exhales are just, it's out of sync, that throws off that sinus wave, and then your heart rate rhythm's out of whack, and that gets your autonomic nervous system out of balance. So for those that don't know, it can help with asthma, COPD, autoimmune disorders, anxiety levels. If you have high blood pressure as well, that's one of it helps a little bit, but they never get to the root cause of the problem if you're breathing improperly. So along with breathwork stuff, I'm going to go into the location of how you should breathe, range of the movement as well for your breath, but also your CO2 tolerance. That's another big part of just overall health in your HRV. So that urge to breathe when you hold your breath isn't so much, and then you pinch your nose. Most people, when they do this test, only last about 20 seconds. That's not good. What you want is 40 seconds, and that's a little bit more optimal. So I'm not going to do it right now just because it's harder to do with a larger group to get everyone to do the time, because everyone's exhales are a little bit different. But if you want to afterwards, get with me. We can go over it, make sure you're doing it right. And it's a good way to track your progress. It's very easy, just take a big breath, let it out, hold your nose, time it, and see if you're starting to make progress, and just do that daily, and you'll start to make little changes. So that way you just, so it's a lot different. Yeah, you can't let that CO2 out anymore. So like when you exhale, you can still kind of let that gas exchange happen. So you're kind of trapping that gas exchange and letting the CO2 levels build up. As you're running, you're either like, oh my God, my legs are tired, or you're like, oh, I can't breathe. So if you train your respiratory muscles as well, then you'll just be that much better of an athlete. And then you'll also just be helping with your mind to muscle connection, helping with decision making, because again, that nervous system balance. When you breathe with the belly, that's helping balance and restore your nervous system, so you'll have better decision making, better dexterity and function. Everything will fire a lot better, because also when you're stuck in fight or flight, those signals from the brain to the muscles just don't work as well, but it's in that protect mode and fight mode. So yeah, that kind of covers a little bit of everything we're going over. Does anyone have any questions over just what I just talked about before I kind of move on? Nope. Cool. All right, so the first thing is getting your mechanics right, because again, as like a strength coach, it does you no good to be like, if you're trying to build your squat up and you're squatting like this, you're not going to get very good results, and you're going to get hurt. So same thing if you're doing breath work, and you're just doing a bunch of vertical, shallow breathing, it's basically poor practice, and you want perfect practice. So the first thing we want to go over is the location of your breath, okay? So there's a few ways to do this. Most people are kind of a hybrid breather, but there's either vertical breathing, which is where the chest and shoulders really rise. That's what most people think when you go to the doctor and they go like, all right, take a deep breath. Most people, okay, that's not really a deep breath. A deep breath is, it's like my chest and shoulders didn't rise or fall. So you want to be able to access that. And a lot of people around the age of 5, you stop breathing with the diaphragm as a kid because you're looking up at all the adults. They kind of suck in. There's superheroes drawn like this. And all the kids, there's like the hierarchy of height of like, oh, well, I'm taller, so that means I'm better, I'm in charge. It's just kind of funny how kids are like that. But that's when it kind of stops, and then it just gets harder and harder to access it. So that's why doing this conscious breathing is so helpful. So first, you just have to test and see where your location is at. And there's a really good book called Breathing for Warriors that goes into finding your breath like you. If you guys want more information on this too, I can give you the link to where you can go and find it. But basically, you're just going to look at yourself and you're going to see, how do you breathe? You could put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and taking a breath. So everyone go ahead and do this now if you want to. Okay, so one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and I want you to think of taking a deep breath, breathing in through the nose, and I want you to try to make your stomach come out. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, big inhale. Okay, how was that for everyone? Did anyone notice who was like a vertical breather? Anyone know right off the bat, or was everyone pretty good? Pretty good? You're just doing yourself a disservice. And so you can get with me after this if you guys want to, and I can show you how to do this test. Use measuring tape, and you can figure out like how many inches of difference in your diaphragm and your breath and your location. You get a grade, and then you can make like a journal and have a practice and start to improve that grade. Okay, so reinforce. You don't want to always breathe through the nose. Sometimes, the health and wellness space can sometimes get overrun with people and their absolutes. I'm sure you guys have heard of just like, stop breathing with your mouth, nose only. It just depends on what you're doing. If you're playing a sport and you're working hard, you might need to breathe through your mouth. Don't do yourself a disservice by like, no, I must breathe through my nose only. That's for like lower stuff or just when you're at rest. Okay. Now you could try to get better by training at it and maybe doing some light cardio and then breathing through your nose only. But if you feel the urge to breathe through your mouth, then that's just a natural response and you probably need to. Okay. But breathing through your nose has a lot of benefits. It basically has a filter that helps clean out the air. It also, there's capillaries in your nose that help your body produce nitrous oxide, so it helps with circulation. And there's other benefits too, but I won't go into everything so we can actually start doing some fun breathwork stuff. But keep that in mind too, so when you're doing this breathwork, trying to get better and improve your mechanics, I would recommend focusing on breathing through the nose. Okay. Let's see. I went over the CO2 tolerance, Bohr effect, Bolt test. All right, so now we're going to go into HRV improvement. So I talked about the HRV and how that's honestly a big sign of just overall health if your HRV numbers are good, because it's a good way to just look at your whole body system, from heart health to your nervous system health to your breathing rate. And they've discovered that in order to get your HRV in sync, you want to do about 5 breaths a minute. That's the frequency, and deep, full breaths as well. So with that, that's basically a rate of a 6-second inhale with a 6-second exhale. And that's what we're going to do here in a little bit. We're going to do it for just 3 minutes. Okay, and with this 6-second inhale and exhale, I want you guys to be trying to focus on breathing through the nose only, and trying to focus on breathing with the diaphragm. And it's also full breaths. So like I can extend my inhales and exhales for a very long time. Like I've gone up to 30 seconds for box breathing, which is pretty miserable. But with that in mind, so like 6 seconds, I could possibly not have a full breath. So you want to make sure that you guys are timing it to where it's like you're about halfway, and then that 4, 5, 6 is when you're peaking, filling up all the way. And there's no pause with this HRV one. You go right into the exhale. So it's just inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Want to get comfortable. Big deep inhale and 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Let it all out the mouth. One more deep inhale. Let it all out the mouth. Now we'll begin our breathing cycle in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue to do it on your own. You can close your eyes, have a soft gaze if you'd like. Remember, focus on breathing in through the diaphragm, filling up all the way, and exhaling it all out. As you exhale, visualize every single muscle relaxing from the top of your head, working all the way down to the face muscles. With each exhale, you start to slowly relax, feeling every muscle start to relax, getting lower and lower. For a second, that's okay. Okay, don't feel you're not going to win anything at the end for doing the best breath work. Okay, and I'd rather not have someone pass out or something during this. So just keep that in mind, and then it's something that you can use as you get better with your breathing. And this is a great way to some reasons that you'd want to do dynamic breath work, right? Because it's like, why do that when I'm trying to restore my nervous system? Well, with the dynamic breath work with different techniques, there's a lot of different ones for it. The one I'm going to do is a good way to activate your sympathetic and then activate your parasympathetic quickly. And the better you get at switching the light on, this is the analogy I essentially like to use, then the better you get at switching it off too. So remember, the inhales are more sympathetic, exhales are parasympathetic. And especially mouth breathing is more sympathetic. So during the faster breathing, you do 40 rapid breaths. Okay, and there's different versions. There's also 20. There's also 30. So I saw your eyebrows raised. So and it is intense. I've done a breath work that was 45 minutes of rapid breathing, and that's, you know, it's hard, especially to just sit there and not move. And it's essentially a workout for the mind and the muscle, because it gets tiring. But if I can do that for 45 minutes, then going on a run for 45 minutes is much easier. I can control my breathing better, and it's just training this without actually running and stuff as well. So you're trying to activate the sympathetic, but then what we do is 40 rapid breaths, and then after the 40, and I'll give you guys a cue on like, okay, it's coming up, 3, 2, 1.
big inhale, you're going to fill up all the way. So think like range of motion for your muscles, okay? So we're going to fill up all the way, just like a bench press. We wouldn't want to stop right here. We're going to come all the way down, okay? Filling them up, and then we're letting all of it out. And then we're going to do a hold for about a minute. Okay, I might make it a little bit shorter. And again, this is where it's okay, where if you're holding the breath and then you feel like you need to take a breath, just take a little breath and then like let it out again and then try to hold from there. Okay, and if you feel like you need to just kind of breathe naturally, totally fine. Just try to jump in when you can. Okay, so 40 rapid breaths, big inhale, exhale, we're going to let it all out, and then we're going to hold for about a minute. Then after that, we're going to fill up the lungs all the way again, and this time we're going to try to keep that air in the lungs. It's like trying to hold that air, and then we're going to hold that briefly, and then once we've held that for a moment of time, then we're going to let it out with a slow, controlled exhale. I like to have people hum, so just like I was talking about that parasympathetic response, so kind of try to get that teeth chatter. So this actually kind of derived from Buddhist monks too. I use this as a firefighter. I think I forgot to mention that I was a firefighter for a pretty long time too. When I would be in a fire, in a structure fire with my mask, I would hum to help extend my exhales and not use as much air. So a lot of times I'd be in the fire, and if the guys ever heard of they know it was me. Not only for helping with air conservation, but also keeping my stress response down. So I could be nice and chill in the fire instead of, oh my God, it's hot in here, I can't see. Instead it's just like, I'm fine. So anytime you guys are in, obviously y'all aren't firefighters, but you get in stressful situations, if you're in a spot like that, try to remember, I think I'll hum, and then I'll stay chill. So, all right, so what we're going to do, I originally wanted to do 4 rounds of this. Y'all want to try for 4 rounds of this, or maybe we'll just do 2?
You're the boss. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. Let's go for 4. Why not? It's a breathwork class, so we'll go for 4. Okay. If you guys get tired, again, just like I said, you can just kind of sit here, breathe normally, and jump in when you're ready. Nose. And exhale out the mouth. Good. One more big inhale in the nose. Fill up all the way. Hold it at the top. Exhale it all out. We're going to begin in 3, 2, 1. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep going. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. About halfway through. Keep going. Stay in that nice rhythm. Engage the diaphragm. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep on going, almost there. Just a few more breaths. 3, 2, 1. Big inhale. Hold it at the top. And sigh, let it out. And now we're going to go into our first breath hold. Just relax the body. Relax the mind. Relax your face muscles. Relax your shoulders. Keep going, we're almost there. And we'll take a big inhale in 3, 2, 1. Inhale in the nose. Hold it at the top. Keep those lungs full, diaphragm, sit. Now take a few more just little sips of air with the mouth. Fill up all the way and hold. Relax the shoulders. Relax the throat. We'll get ready for that nice long exhale in 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let it all out. Deep inhale in the nose now. And sigh and let it out. Good. That was round 1. Get ready for round 2.
You ever done this in the rain before?
And we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep going. Good. I want to hear your breaths. Filling up all the way, letting it out all the way. 30 seconds in. Keep going.